So in an effort to blunt the momentum of Vice President Kamala Harris, Donald Trump is headed to North Carolina later today for a rally in Asheville that his campaign is touting as a significant economic address. It's been 16 years since a Democrat won the state and its 16 electoral votes when Barack Obama prevailed there in 2008. Trump won North Carolina in 2020 by less than 75,000 votes.
And Sam Stein, I mean, it's pretty simple math. When you look at these states, especially in the South, one of the reasons Georgia tipped first to Democrats the way it has to senators is because Atlanta is such a massive urban center, so big, and the suburbs that actually the rural votes can come in overwhelmingly for Donald Trump, and it doesn't matter. North Carolina is moving in that direction, and people expect North Carolina eventually to tip Democratic as Charlotte and the other cities get bigger. You have a good sized black vote. You have a good size educated vote there with all of the schools, and so North Carolina could tip, and I think most Democrats think maybe 4-8 years it's going to be solidly blue. But what do you have with Donald Trump and just an absolutely radical Republican gubernatorial candidate is giving Democrats and the Harris campaign hope that they can take it this year like Barack Obama did once.
Summer.
Do we have audio on Sam?
Hello? Do you not have audio on me?
So listen, I will say this, Sam.
He's wearing it.
No, he's wearing his microphone. You know, I would say after we've done this show for like a couple of months, I think we're going to get good at it. But go ahead, Sam. North Carolina, is it for different?
I've learned my lesson. I will never, ever, ever, ever blame technicians. They're the godsend of the show.
Never.
That one was on me. That was on me.
He really has come along.
He's still saying it 5 years later.
I'm still tarred by it. People still come up to me and mention that moment, and it's really jarring.
Wow.
I will say about North Carolina.
You kind of like Christian Bale, like yelling at his lighting guy, right? It went viral, and
That's a deep cut, Chip.
I'm joking.
Damn. Yeah,
that is a deep cut.
Stein,
We're gonna get this back on track here. North Carolina. Let's remember, Obama won North Carolina, as Joe mentioned. It was supposed to be the southern state that went Democratic first, and then Georgia kind of leapfrogged it, and largely because Trump basically turned off much of the suburbs in and around Atlanta. Georgia flips. North Carolina's kind of been the stubborn, annoying little state, not little, pretty big state. Democrats have tried to get again and again. It's been fool's gold. Part of the reason is it's just hasn't had that same type of conversion that Georgia did. But for, the past couple of months, the Biden people, now the Harris people have looked at it and said, look, we have a real chance of flipping this. I think the fact that Trump is showing up there today is a real sign that they're nervous about the state. I think Joe hit it on the head. The fact that Mark Robinson's on the head of the gubernatorial ticket for Republicans, really a radical figure, all things considered, relative to other gubernatorial candidates on the Republican side. This could be the state that kind of under the radar Harris could flip, which makes her path to getting to 270 a lot easier. Suddenly, you don't have to be so preoccupied with Michigan or Wisconsin. Obviously, Pennsylvania is huge. You still need to have that one. But yeah, North Carolina is one of those under-the-radar targets for Harris.
It is, John, extraordinary, too, to think about where we were a month ago when Joe Biden was viewed as being the nominee, obviously, talking about states like Minnesota maybe going Republican, that they were going to lose Democratic strongholds. They were throwing out New Jersey, forget Nevada and Georgia and Arizona and all the other places that they had started to write off a little bit and thinking we have to win these three states. That dynamic has changed completely. Now we're talking about Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, and maybe North Carolina now tipping in the direction of Kamala Harris. A total flip in the way we're sort of viewing the map at this point.
Here's how things changed. During the Republican National Convention, the Biden team put out a campaign memo that basically said our only path to victory was Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Yeah. That's the only way they could do it. At the same time, the Republicans gave a briefing to reporters at the convention saying North Carolina's in the bag. We're not even going to worry about that. What happened this week? Donald Trump showing up in North Carolina. What else happened this week? They put in an ad buy in North Carolina. So that shows you how they are now concerned about that state. Vice President Harris will also be in North Carolina this week. She'll be there Friday, Mike Barnicle. And interestingly, both of the candidates are using that state to talk about the economy. Trump is going to talk about it today, obviously complaints about inflation and deriding what they've seen from the Biden White House. And then Kamala Harris on Friday in Raleigh is going to defend the record of the economy and try to silence some people who think that's one of her vulnerabilities.
You know, to Willie's point, the sea change in American politics over just the past few weeks has been astounding. As you indicated, President Biden was supposed to be on the ballot 3 or 4 weeks ago, and all the numbers in every state were going the wrong way. Now it's completely flip-flopped, including North Carolina, which is now in contention. And I would submit there's one other element to be added to this conversation. I think there's going to be another sea change after the first debate that occurs between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. When a black woman in the ring cuffs him around, which she will, I think he will go bananas in public, and that will change everything.
No, I agree with you. I think that the fact that this black woman is going to be standing there equal to him is already unnerving him. But for her to be able to prosecute the case, when a few days later he has to actually go to a sentencing for his 34 felonies, I think that he's at edge. I think that people don't understand that not only has he naturally lost it, the man is looking at a sentencing date. I don't know why we keep avoiding the fact that we're talking about from debate to debate. The man doesn't know what the judge is going to do on the 18th. He may have to get permission from a parole officer to make the second debate if there is a second debate.
The almost 80-year-old man.
The almost 80-year-old man. He's got to live with that. And then talking about North Carolina, I think that not only has it changed, I spent some time in North Carolina last month. I preached at a church in Winston-Salem, Sir Walter Max Church, and then I did the AME Zion Convention. And I'm so sick of all of them asking me, am I bringing Joe Scarborough with me? He's not my deacon. He's a friend of mine. But I talked to people in North Carolina, and what has happened also is this bizarre gubernatorial candidate the Republicans have, who's a black man who says blacks ought to be paying reparations to whites for taking care of us during slavery. This is literally a quote. That is going to help Kamala Harris immeasurably.